Everyone, welcome back to Coin channel. For those who are unfamiliar with the channel, I hope you will subscribe after watching this video. Therefore, I stated over the weekend that the primary concern at the moment is how stocks are looking into you are aware of. You are aware of the weekly and weekly open, and I will be completely honest with you all right now. The overall structure does not appear to be excellent. Anyone who claims that the current state of the market is bullish is deceiving you. I do believe that things are becoming bearish at the moment, and that the overall structure is really poor. Simply put, they are the facts. I won't just sit here and tell you folks, hey, guess what, everything looks great, and then try to cheer you all up by sugarcoating everything. No, we must be practical in this situation. Since we are dealing with money, we must be truthful when doing so. Considering the current state of affairs in this area, the market has been somewhat pessimistic. Ever since the tariffs were announced, it's been about 2 months since we started bleeding profusely. And don't get me wrong, the market wasn't doing really well prior to the tariffs because, for instance, Bitcoin saw a double top, if you will, from the middle of December to roughly the end of January. At this point, we truly reached the peak in terms of a real lick wick. This resulted in a liquidity wick up to roughly 110K. Shortly after this, we received the announcements regarding tariffs. We have been steadily losing money ever since the tariff announcements. Is it only cryptocurrency now? No, stocks are also involved. In fact, the U.S. stock market lost more than $1.75 trillion today if we look at stocks. Now, if you think that buying is a good idea when others are afraid, guess what? We are frightened now. Everyone is worried. Everyone is concerned. Do what you want then. We don't know when the tariff insanity will finish, so I don't recommend buying this right now because I feel like we're catching a falling knife. And do I believe that to be utterly absurd? Not precisely. It's a long game, in my opinion. Now let's talk about tariffs. That's the question. When can we expect the markets to recover? Because the markets may continue to decline for weeks or even months if this is a long game, which is another question we ought to be asking. Where is the bull run in that? There's no meaningful way to predict when the bull run will occur if we're just going to bleed out for weeks and months. This year is when it should occur if we are based on past cycles and the 4-year cycle. However, it is unclear if the tariffs will encourage that. Will it also alter the framework as a whole? Because keep in mind, liquidity is what drives this market. The market will suddenly dry up, indicating that markets are topping and selling off if we observe that liquidity is being removed from the market and that items are being destroyed as a result of the tariff talks. These are merely basic facts. Markets operate in this manner. The primary motivator is liquidity. We follow the liquidity cycle, which is the sole explanation for why the cryptocurrency market genuinely has a 4-year cycle. Right now, we're seeing sell-offs everywhere. There have been 24-hour and 7-day sell-offs, and even if we look at the top 100 gainers and losers over the past 30 days, we can still find some good gains. Many of these initiatives, such as Story, were very recently introduced. Other than that, not much has changed in the past 30 days. Let's face it, the past 30 days in the cryptocurrency space have been really sad. Here we can observe that there are more than 40 losses overall. Additionally, it's something that somewhat borrows from sentiment. In terms of emotion in this area, the CMC Altcoins Season Index is currently at 15 out of 100, and once more, this covers the previous 3 months if we look at the list below. I wanted to let you know how bearish this market is at the moment, which is why I've been kind of focusing on it in the earlier videos. Are we in a bear market right now? In fact, this was the post that I initially published on X. Additionally, I stated that the overall framework is quite weak. This one over here, Larry Fink, shaking the markets with inflation predictions, actually discussed the Trump deportations. Construction and agriculture will be significantly impacted by this. In essence, he stated that this will result in higher inflation in the near future. I think he stated that this would last between 6 and 9 months. I could be mistaken. All right, let's get started. Over the next 6 to 9 months, I believe, there will be a slight increase in inflation. Therefore, in addition to the obvious additional tariff debates, this did not help the markets. We might now easily hold on to the notion that this is manipulation of the market. The markets are being manipulated by them. Do I now believe that a great deal of market manipulation is taking place here? 100%? I was shown the overall trading volume by someone, and if we consider that Binance is the market leader with a 24-hour trading volume of over $31 billion, many have been accusing Binance of market manipulation. A lot of Bitcoin is being bought and sold by them. The price of Bitcoin is being manipulated by them. There are many things in it that we can claim are unquestionably true, but there are also many things that we can say are merely conjecture. I do believe that the bigwigs, such as Larry Fink, Trump, and all of these billionaires, have been releasing a lot of negative news lately. The dread seems to be exaggerated, and it certainly feels like we are beginning to witness a lot of manipulation. We'll just have to wait and observe what transpires throughout the course of the week. However, I also mentioned that equities fell and the whole cryptocurrency market cap lost more than $242 billion today alone after Trump declared earlier today that he would not impose a recession. While the S&P, NASDAQ, and Dow have returned to levels we haven't seen since September, the cryptocurrency market has lost over $767.5 billion over the past 30 days. The level of fear has never been higher. From here, we either reach unimaginable heights or it's over. There's no middle ground. Again, now. The downside has a little more leeway. I will state the important thing, but I won't take that out of the equation. And I ask everyone, do you believe that the market is in a bull or bear market right now? I mean, I don't want to know what a bear market is if we're believing that this is a bull market right now. Still optimistic about cryptocurrency? 100%. The long-term outlook for cryptocurrency is, in my opinion, very favorable. But we won't pump if we don't stop hearing about tariffs. The trade war is to blame for all of this sell pressure. The S&P 500, the NASDAQ, the Dow Jones, and the total. The Keybeast letter is actually broken down here. In an interview with Fox News that went viral 24 hours ago, President Trump hinted that a recession might be on the horizon. The S&P 500 is currently down $5 trillion in 13 trading days, indicating a substantial change in mood today. This is what actually occurred. Here is a lovely chart of the S&P 500 that dates back to the end of January, by the way. Once more, the cryptocurrency market is here. Let's take a look at Bitcoin, shall we? Let's go on to the charts. This brings us to the 19th dot. Here, Bitcoin is looking stunning, experiencing a slight sell-off, nothing too dramatic. But it is still staying steady. However, tariffs were issued about this time. The trade war starts. Now that tariffs are ramping up once again, the stock market peaks in the middle of February. Until the end of February, while tariffs are still being discussed, Bitcoin is still maintaining steady. Everything is sold, once more. The retail public is frightened by the tariff talks, which is sufficient to keep the markets low. Impulsive vendors begin to sell. When people believe that tariffs would lead the economy to collapse, they stop making purchases. Everyone says it again, the tariffs show optimism. They are optimistic. They are optimistic. Long term, they are bullish. They're not in the short term. They will lead to economic breakdowns, which is why Trump is now stating that a recession might be on the horizon, because he knows that if we keep announcing tariffs, it will lead to a lot of issues with trade, which in turn leads to a lot of issues with what? The supply chain then abruptly slows down, much like in 2020. We begin to witness stock market crashes. Take Taiwan, one of the world's largest semiconductor producers, as an example. If we are unable to obtain chips, simply go. We are unable to obtain chips, the stocks abruptly disappear after the Mag 7 crashes. That's all there is to it. All it takes for this trade war to slow down the supply chain is one major incident. And the scenario is exactly the same as it was in 2020.